Good afternoon, and welcome to this edition of Voices from Our Schools. I'm your host, Kimberly Stender, and joining me today, I have two highly accomplished students from Amherst Regional High School. I want to welcome them today and introduce them to you. And with me right now, we have Anthony Cruz. Hello, Anthony.
Hi.
Hi. And Tasia Clemons.
Hi.
Hi, Tasia. And both of you are juniors at the high school.
Yep.
And you are very much involved in the Minority Student Achievement Network, or the MSAN program at the high school. So we're going to talk today about that program and the experiences that you've had through that, and to really educate our viewers on this exciting and truly engaging program that many students like you are involved in. So I guess we should start off by just, getting to know you, Anthony.
Right.
So you're a junior at the high school.
Yep.
You have been raised in Amherst.
Uh-huh.
And now you're at the high school.
Yep.
And what's the best thing about
The high school?
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot, the variety in people, the types of classes, and the difficult. I have to say I like it all.
You do?
Yeah.
Good. That's great. And Tasia?
I just love the opportunities at the high school because there's like a lot of them, and it's just like being open to all of those. It's just like really like fun, and it's really exciting.
Yes, you have your academic opportunities, but yet extracurricular and athletic opportunities. I know, Anthony, you're a big athlete over there. And Tasia, you really take advantage of the after-school programs.
I do.
Yes. So I'm very excited to interview you and to let the audience know about what goes on at the high school with the MSAN course. So, MSAN, what is that? MSAN stands for?
The Minority Student Achievement Network. And what it is, it's like a national coalition of 25 school districts.
Okay.
And Amherst was the founding, was part of the founding members in 1999. And they work together to research and share practices at work, and staff, students in our district have attended MSAN conferences that were all around the country.
Okay, so it's a truly a national organization, and it's quite an honor that our school district, Amherst, was a founding member and has continued to be highly involved with empowering young adults like yourself. Yeah. It's truly important, and it's very meaningful work. MSAN as a national organization deals a lot with narrowing the achievement gap.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and recently in Amherst, we've had a lot of speakers come to visit to talk about the achievement gap and how it affects students and families here, as well as across the country. So, Anthony, can you tell our viewers exactly what the achievement gap is?
Well, the achievement gap is mostly based on the minorities and how, compared to white students, and everything like tests, GPAs, graduation rates, and scholarship awarded, the Hispanics and African American students don't do as well as compared to the regular white student. So that's one of the main focuses that MSAN tries to they try to find solutions to how can we combat this and how can we narrow down the achievement gap so everyone can be successful at the same rate. And that's pretty much what they focus on. And in the community, that's one of the main things, because even though we have students that succeed in the high school, we still have that achievement gap in our own community. So that's what we mostly focus on now.
And MSAN continues to bring light to this and to keep this really in the scope of conversation and keep it at the forefront of people's minds. We want all of our students, grades pre-K through 12, to have equity and access to success and higher education after they leave Amherst High School. So, Tasia, at the high school, there is a class which is an MSAN class. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about that and who can enroll in it and what you do every day?
So MSAN, as you said, it's a class at the high school, and Miss Custard, who's also our dean, has been an advisor and a conference chaperone for many years. Miss Mafi was the social studies teacher who created and like taught this like course, and recently Miss Abbott, my teacher now, has been teaching it for the past 2 years, and we've created it just to like mainly focus on like what the conference is about, which is like the achievement gap, and as well as that, it expands beyond just like a class. It's also like there's after school programs like Strive that are brought up into it, and that's like mentoring 8th graders and like speaking to them about like what they want to do with their future as well. And as well as like with the MSAN conference, there's like shadow days too as well, which is like where 8th graders come and they shadow like people in the high school and like just to get a feel of like what everything is about.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think MSAN is aligned with the social studies department.
Yeah.
Right. And is it sociology? Is it under that auspice?
Yeah, sociology seminar.
Okay. So when you arrive in the classroom every day, how is the class structured each day?
The class, recently our main topic right now, we're talking about stereotypes and how like minority students have to deal with stereotypes and like how it frames like identities and how our identities are socialized. So like mainly what's happening is like we have discussions, we have debates, we analyze articles, and that's basically what we really do throughout the whole course.
Okay, so there's assigned readings, and then you have class participation and discussion. Do you talk a lot about perception and how students of color are perceived?
Yes, we do. We talk a lot about that actually.
Yeah.
Like recently we had a paper on like our identities and how we like see, and also what I put into my paper is how I see like other people too. So it's like the perceptions on how people view us and how we view other people.
So it's almost as if you're constantly challenging yourself to rise above what we've been taught or what's kind of ingrained in us per se, and you know, try to create a more beneficial system and society. Does that make sense? Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So you talk about Miss Abbott, who was your teacher for the class, and then Miss Custard, who is the dean of students at the high school, and they're incredible mentors. They're women who really believe in this work. And I know that they serve as really positive role models, very strong positive role models for you. And in doing so, do you find yourself more apt to get involved in clubs and organizations in the high school and kind of get involved in the community and spread this work?
I mean, since they work in the school I go to, they're there every day. Just like if an opportunity comes up, come to me first out of anyone. They see me as a leader. So Miss Abbott in particular, I've had her as a teacher in 10th grade. And then ever since then, she just, like, every time she sees an opportunity to come up for me, she always pounds it into me. You have to do this. Like, this is a good thing for you. All the colleges are going to love it. So I just feel that these two teachers have helped me so much in high school with, like, all the opportunities I've been able to have the last couple of years.
So they recognize your strengths, and they're cultivating your skills, you know, your leadership skills. The fact that you're here today, I mean, this was kind of a last-minute opportunity, and yet the two of you are here so confidently and so comfortably, articulately telling me about the MSAN program. So hats off to you. So now that these leadership skills and whatnot are within you, and they're being cultivated by your teachers and faculty, are there opportunities where you can transfer what you know to other students or perhaps kids in the middle school, like through the Strive program?
Definitely, like through Strive, we're not only teaching them like about like helping them with what they have to like do in like the future, but we're also like giving them ideas about like what classes they should take, or and we're also telling them ideas of like how they frame their identity and who they are and like what made them who they are. So it's like we're really focusing on them and trying to like be role models just the way that the teachers have done for us.
Yeah, it's very special, and it's truly powerful. Absolutely. Now I think a big component, a huge component of the MSAN course is the MSAN conference. And I think, Tasia, you mentioned that back in 1999, when the Minority Student Achievement Network was founded, by a smaller group of districts from around the country. And these districts are not only in urban areas, but also in suburban areas where there's a diverse student population. So back in 1999, these conferences started where students like yourself were able to travel to different districts around the country, be exposed to different ways of life and situations outside of Amherst, and really have the opportunity to, I guess, become stronger individuals and maybe step outside that box of comfort that we all kind of find ourselves in. So recently you were able to travel to Phoenix, Arizona, where the 2012 MSAN conference was held. And I know a lot of great things happened to you during those few days that you were out there. So could you tell me a little bit about what happened during the conference and actually how you came to get to the conference?
Well, how I got to the conference was in the summer. Miss Custer, the type of woman she is, she would be persistent and try to get me to go. She's like, you need to go. I get emails, phone calls, and then I had to give in. I was like, all right, this sounds pretty good. And what the conference was is we had speakers that come from all types of diverse backgrounds, and they would just tell us about their success stories and what it means to be successful, as well as, like, you don't need a high-paying job to be successful. It's different for everyone. And then we would also have group talks and conversations of how we could combat the achievement gap. And we could all tell stories and relate each other, like how our community is doing this or how our community is like. And it would just be people listening to each other, giving each other ideas, concepts, and just being there for one another. Because everyone just came from diverse backgrounds, because it was 250 students all over the country from all these different districts that did have the MSAN class. So it was pretty good just seeing how everyone from like all parts of the world, of all parts of the country were dealing with these things and how their lives were like and how we could like compare and contrast with each other, and it was a pretty good experience for me.
It was a true interaction of the minds, basically. Yeah. And it's a gift that you're able to all meet and have the opportunity to discuss what goes on in your lives. I'm guessing that not everyone experiences life like we do in Amherst. So having different perceptions and different perspectives kind of brings everything into focus, especially when you're talking about the achievement gap. It not only affects a lot of people here, but it affects a lot of people all over. And part of the MSAN conference is you get to hear different speakers. And I know the big speaker out in Phoenix was a gentleman by the name of Terrel. And he is nationally acclaimed, and his work with young adults like yourselves is truly empowering. So Tasia, would you mind telling the audience a little bit about how Calvin affected you and your fellow MSAN scholars?
Yeah, so Calvin Terrel was an amazing speaker. Like when he was there, he didn't only make us think about how like we perceive other people, he made us think about how we he made me think about myself and how I react to things and how like one of the main things that he was talking about was how like prejudices. So he would make us do these like little exercises. So beyond like just speaking to us, he wanted us to get involved. So he'd make us do like exercises about like there's like this repetition exercise that he would do where he would make us repeat the same word over and over again. And his main like focus with doing that was trying to show us like we learn something when we're small like a lot, and it's like always repeated, and that's how we're gonna learn it when we're older. So it's like he basically like changed who I was when I was like at that conference, because going into the conference I was a completely different person than when I left. So he was just really inspiring.
Yeah, and very transformational.
Yeah.
Obviously. Did you walk away feeling like you were stronger and that you could accomplish more?
Definitely. He made me feel really open, like I could be open-minded about a lot of things, and it's just like, but despite like how he taught us, he was very explicit with it all. He didn't hold anything back. So it's just like every word he said, it kind of like spoke to me a lot. Yeah.
And I saw an outtake, not from that conference, but from a different conference where he was speaking. And he really relates to the young person.
He does.
You know, because he's young himself. And, you know, just the words that he used and the phrases and the references to movies and songs and things that all of you can relate to,
Yeah.
I think made it a more compelling presentation.
Yeah, definitely his personal experience. He brought a lot of personal experience into it to make us like relate to him and how we're feeling and how he felt at like those times in his life, and it was just really inspiring.
Yeah, and it makes it a little easier for you.
Yeah.
You know, hearing it from someone else and being able to utilize that advice. So at the MSAN conference, you also kind of break out into work groups. And part of the charge is to create an action plan. And an action plan is something that you want to create at the MSAN conference and then bring back to your district, bring back to Amherst. And in the past, there have been a couple action plans that have been implemented in our district and continued to be that way. And I know both of you mentioned the Strive program, right? And also the Shadow Day. So that's something that we could talk about now. What Strive is. Strive is a opportunity for high school students to mentor 8th graders. Anthony, can you tell me a little bit about that? No.
I mean,
Tasia, you can.
yeah,
You can jump right in.
Strive is just like we're reaching out to 8th graders who are going into the high school and like they don't know what to expect. So it's like if I was looking back and when I was in 8th grade, I was like, oh, I need to like get like where I need to be just to like be prepared for high school. So we're kind of preparing them for high school, like what's to come. And we kind of like, I remember we were having a talk earlier, me and like other Strive members, about expanding it beyond like middle school and like 7th and 8th graders to like elementary school and having them prepare for like middle school and like what's to come. Yeah.
So that trickle-down effect.
Yeah, we definitely want that to happen because I feel like it shouldn't just stop at 8th graders. It should go on from there.
I agree. And for Strive, do you meet once a week? Do you meet twice a month?
We meet once a week, and it's like every Monday after school.
And do you all walk over to the middle school, or do they join you at the high school?
Either or, it
just
happens.
depends.
Yeah.
It must be exciting for them to come over to the high school.
It is. I love it.
Okay. And so you talk about the curriculum, and you kind of direct them into courses that they should take.
Yeah.
Maybe not just, maybe challenge themselves in an AP course or an honors course.
Definitely.
Okay. And then then you also do some field trips in MSAN. So recently you saw Michelle Alexander
Yes.
at Hampshire College. Okay, and she, I heard, was a phenomenal speaker.
Yes.
Really empowering as well, and she really spoke from experience, from a legal standpoint. So that was interesting. So these opportunities are amazing. Getting back to the conference now, the action plans that you worked on in Phoenix, are you prepared to talk a little bit about that and how you might implement that back at the high school?
Well, this year we decided to do it kind of differently since next year we'd be hosting it.
Yes.
So our action plan was mostly to prepare for what we would do in Amherst compared to Phoenix. Since we were already there, we wanted to take aspects of what we were experiencing and just implement them into an action plan that we would bring back to Amherst and use it when we were coming together to help build the conference that we will be hosting next year, because we are a founding member of MSAN. So we had to make it really big.
Yeah, and that's quite an honor. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. And that is truly something that you all will be involved in, and we're really looking to all of you for ideas and great things. So, again, we'll mention that. Part of the MSAN conferences is they generally happen in college towns or around colleges or universities, and you were able to tour 2 campuses out in Phoenix. So one was it ASU, Arizona
yep.
State University. And Anthony, what did you take away from that tour?
I liked it because Arizona is a really hot place.
Yeah.
100% of the year. They said that the coldest it gets is like 70 degrees, and that's really cold, when here it's like really warm. But ASU, what I really liked about it was the business school. They're top known for their business school. Everyone from around like the world comes there. So that really intrigued me. And they also were able to show us like the ASU tour. The tour was like, since the campus is so big, it's like a city in itself. And there were a lot of good things you could take from ASU, so I don't know, keep going.
And then you saw a smaller community college as well, so it was quite a contrast.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how many students went to the conference? in Phoenix from our school, from Amherst High
10
School?
students.
10 students. So I'm assuming 5
Girls and 5
5 boys.
Yeah.
Okay. And you all traveled together,
Yeah.
and you really became a team, a close-knit
We did.
organization, and I'm sure you learned a lot about each other and took away great things from that conference. So yes, let's fast forward to September of 2013. So here in Amherst, we're going to be hosting the Minority Student Achievement Network National Student Conference. So all lights will be shining on Amherst for 4 days, basically, September 25th through the 28th. And we've already started sort of the preliminary basic planning. So we know a lot of it will happen on the UMass campus, and we're very grateful for folks over there for allowing this to happen. And we're really reaching out into our community.
Yeah.
We want everyone to be aware of the MSAN conference. We don't want it to be an isolated event that really no one knows about except for those involved. So part of that is what you're going to be working on, and that touches upon the action plan. So leading up to the MSAN conference in September, we're going to be having maybe a series of speakers or films that will educate the community on the work that's being done in the MSAN program. And then a huge part of your responsibility is to actually plan the conference and act as ambassadors and leaders and welcome students from all over to Amherst. So I know you can't really divulge a lot right now, but I know things are in the works. And do you have any just broad ideas of what you want our visitors to gain from visiting Amherst?
That Amherst is more of a progressive town compared to other places around the country, where here you'll be more accepted and you'll find a lot of opportunities. Even though it is a small town, you'll be welcomed by everyone because it is such a friendly town compared to what other students talked about. So I feel they'll really like it here when they come.
Okay.
And we're also starting to build this theme where I came up with this idea that since Robert Frost went to Amherst College, it'd be kind of fitting that if we use Robert Frost kind of in how we would run the conference, kind of have some of his quotes and his famous poems and use them as just mottos for the conference when it is here.
That's brilliant, I have to say, and that's going to be the thread that will connect everything over those 4 days and prior and after the event as well. Excellent idea, Anthony.
That's what I said.
That's what you said. And Tasia, what are your hopes?
My hopes are that people will really see that we are working really hard to get everything out. And it's I want them to see we have a variety of different ideas and we're bringing them all together and really showing people this is what's happening and this is how a lot of things are going to change. And we want people to show that they're going to change too, and that everything is just going to fall together really well, and I just want the conference to go extremely great.
Oh, it will. Not to worry. We'll take care of that. And I think the beautiful thing about being in the Pioneer Valley is that we have all these colleges and universities here. So not only do we have UMass and Amherst College and Hampshire right in town, but we have 2 highly esteemed women's colleges. We have Smith and Mount Holyoke at our doorstep. So I know a lot of the leaders from those colleges are willing to help in any way they can to make this conference a success for you and for the other students who will be visiting. So we're really looking forward to that. And then, leading up to the MSAN conference, we want our entire community to be involved. So whether you're a student, a parent, a guardian, a business owner, a community leader, you name it, we want to bring everyone into this conversation and make people aware that there is an achievement gap. And we're working so hard to narrow it and to eliminate it, basically. Ron Ferguson came to visit in the spring, and we have other visitors planned and other speakers planned to help broaden people's perception of the achievement gap and how every student should be able to succeed and access quality education. So we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say. I know in a week and a half you'll be presenting to the Regional School Committee, and there I believe you'll be unveiling your theme. So we're really looking forward to that. I know you've been working really hard, and I just want to kind of draw attention to a couple of things that are going on this past summer. The Strive program was initiated in the high school summer program in collaboration with Lisa Candido's PRISM program, and that was rather successful. We hope to re-energize that for this coming summer. And also, MSAN is working or planning to work with the school climate control group, which is a group at the high school which I guess brings topics to light, whether it's anti-bullying and self-empowerment and whatnot. So that's a really exciting. That's really exciting. We're looking forward to that. Are there any closing, because we're going to be ending the show soon. I told you it goes by very quickly. Yeah. Any closing remarks you want to bring to our viewers' attention, Anthony?
I mean, the more people that get involved in the conference coming in Amherst, the better it'll be. It'll make people more aware of the problems going on in our school, in our own community. Mm-hmm. So people just don't ignore it or feel like, oh, it's not happening here. It's happening other places. But in reality, it is happening here. Not as big compared to other places, but if we can get more people involved with what we're trying to accomplish in the conference, I feel like Amherst would become even a better town than it is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a powerful statement. And if we all work together, we can do this. Right, it's a movement. Yeah. We have to build the engine, as Dr. Ferguson says. And Tasia, what are your closing comments?
I definitely feel like I want those people who are out there who like don't usually speak out to like actually speak out and like come into the conference and be a part of it. Because I used to be one of those people who just like I was always reserved. And after the conference, I was like, okay, I really need to get my word out there. Like no one's gonna listen to me if I'm not speaking. So it's like I just really want those people who are feeling like, oh, like MSAN conference, like I don't know what it is, so I don't want to get involved. I want them to get involved, and I want people to like really want to like see what we're doing, what we're planning, and how things are going to happen in Amherst.
Well, put forth your inner courage, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my goodness. Well, I'm really excited to help you along the way and to help plan this conference. I know our Superintendent Maria Garrick is really on board, and Dr. Marta Guevara. So we'll be working with Ms. Abbott and Ms. Custard, and of course all of you, to make the MSAN 2013 National Student Conference a great success here in Amherst. So I just want to thank you both for joining me today on Voices from Our Schools. I hope to have you come back in the spring, and maybe we could talk a little bit about the plans that have been enacted. And I would really like for you to come back after the conference to tell our viewers what we accomplished in 2013 and let them know that the work that we're doing is ongoing. And if it weren't for young adults like yourselves, I don't know where we would be. So thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you so much for joining me on this latest segment of Voices from Our Schools. I'm Kimberly Stender, and I hope you have a great day.